All right, so Dinwiddie people, this is it. Mark it down. This is your time, but let's talk about Dinwiddie, and we need to give my man Larry Legend some time. Larry, talk about Dinwiddie. We had Coach Taylor on last week. They're a great team. They got one of the best sophomores in the state. They're physical. They play great defense. And they're going to be at Lynchburg. I'm going to get to see them play. I'm excited about that. But let's talk about that game. Kettle Run, people, we're going to do another episode for you. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, I wasn't at that game, so I couldn't really give you too much of a input on that because, you know, I was up here. So I don't know too much about what happened at that game. But all I can just say is that another 7-5-17 went home. I'm going to use this time for shade.
All right, well, they had to stay outside in the rain at the halftime, and that's a big gripe, by the way, because I guess the visitor locker room was way across the way.
That is something that they knew before they got on.
I heard that. They knew it. Right.
So with that being said, but it's 7-5-7, right? Shouldn't y'all be able to overcome that?
Yeah, Phoebus did the same thing. They had to sit out the rain or whatever. But yeah, so what?
I'll be in all seriousness. I'd be a bad person kind of to talk about it because I didn't get to see them play that game. So
have you seen them play this year though?
No.
Okay, Harry Lee, you saw him, right?
Yeah, I've watched Dinwiddie. I've seen Dinwiddie. They got probably the best. And Lord, I don't want to insult the people at Freedom Woodbridge, but they might have the best 1-2 running combination in the state with Harry Dalton and Raphael Tucker. 6 and 5 are unreal. Ward actually had an opportunity for the game to be close. The elements hurt both teams early. Dinwiddie had some uncharacteristic fumbles. And Warwick had a really, really good drive in that game. And Dinwiddie's defense, led by Trey McBride, who's the regional player of the year in 4B, they got to stop. And they needed that stop because the 7-7 game at halftime, I think it's a different ball game. In the second half, though, if I was Warwick, I might have made that walk to that locker room. Because to sit out in the pouring down rain in the cold for 15 extra minutes, and then when he got to go in the locker room, I don't know what mojo Billy Mills, Coach Mills put on those kids when they came back out, but it was a totally different ball game in the second half. The field conditions were bad. I saw one video of the guy was trying to push the water off the sidelines with a broom. It was awful. The field was a slop fest. But Dinwiddie was prepared, man. And I think the biggest thing with Dinwiddie was, for us in the 804, was the whole year watching Dinwiddie run through people was like, who's going to test Dinwiddie? We thought it was going to be Thomas Dale, and they end up and they blow Thomas Dale out.
Yep.
Them coming back to win that King George game last week is big time. The performance Harry Dalton had last week when it mattered the most, the kid went for 275 and 4 touchdowns.
Against
running the ball.
Very, very good team.
Against a King George team that knocked out Verona.
Yeah. No, King George, they had some amazing athletes, especially their receivers. And I said that would be maybe the state championship game right there. Warwick, I was pulling for him all season. Again, the head coach is a fraternity brother, not just fraternity brother, but Spring 90 and a number 1. So that carried a lot of weight. And knowing he's a smart brother, I thought they might be able to do something. But I saw where they they struggled to beat Hampton in the playoffs, and I say a PD that was down a little bit. Some of the wins I wasn't all that impressed with, but I'm very proud of Warwick. They haven't done anything like this, and I don't know, since Michael Vick.
I mean, it was a big year for Warwick, man. And the thing about it is, those kids are young.
Yeah.
Are they moving up to 5 next year?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Somebody was saying they're moving up to 5 next year.
I know Kings Fork is. I know Kings Fork is a 5.
I haven't heard that.
Right. We saw in the group
But
this
I don't-
morning that they're moving to 5.
I don't know if Warwick is a 5.
No, they're moving up to 5.
Okay.
I think
Let me say this: if I'm Warwick, I think they had a tremendous season. I'm proud of you guys because you know what they can say. If Dinwiddie went, they said we lost to Phoebus and we lost to Dinwiddie. Those are our only losses. And Brentsville could be similar in that Brentsville only lost to Kettle Run, who's undefeated and playing Dinwiddie, and then they lost to Phoebus. So hats off to those programs, man, because those are all good teams.
Well, look, I want to give a shout out to Coach Larry Ori, who coaches for Warwick High School. I saw him at an ODU football game. That's my man. He came up to me 3 weeks before they even play out. He said, Melendez, we got a team. And he said, I think this team can go all the way. So I got to give mad props to Larry Ori. He's coaching there. I think he's the receivers coach and maybe the defensive back coach. But he also went to Warwick High School as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
So back in our day, Kirk, Warwick, when they had Ray Savage and Derek Steele, they were pretty good. In fact, our senior year, they made it to the state finals.
Yeah, they beat Phoebus. They beat a very good Phoebus team. Derek Steele was on that team, but yeah, I think they got a lot of athletes. They're going to be good moving forward. And
Yeah, they
the
will be good.
PD, the PD is
So,
trending upward.
We haven't talked a lot about Kempsville. I mean, not Kettle Run, but I've been calling them all the way through. You saw Kettle Run against Loudoun County, and I've watched them on film, and they have a tremendous receiver. I mean, and you know what? Let me just say this. One of the things I was surprised that Fairfax lost to Madison is because I said when a team has a guy, just the guy, a dude like a LeVar Arrington was in high school, like a Allen Iverson, like a Michael Vick, you always got a chance. And so,
but the game has evolved so much, though. You can game plan around a guy.
Yeah.
And Madison was battle tested. Like Madison is somebody who had been there before.
yeah,
They've been battle tested. Madison hasn't lost since September.
yeah. And Madison, again, Madison, like Stonebridge, like Highland Springs, they've had a tough schedule. Like they lost those 3 games, but they also lost over 20 seniors off the team that made it to the state championship last year. So it took them a while to get it going. They have a great base in the Vienna youth football program where I coached against those kids, and those kids get ready and they know what they're going to be doing when they get to the big squad. All right, so predictions for that, I'm going to stick with Kettle Run. They're not too far from my crib, and they're 2 undefeated teams. I think Dinwiddie should win from everything I've seen and heard, but Kettle Run has surprised a lot of people along the way. So I'm gonna pick Kettle Run.
All right, let me do this real quick.
I see your face, Coach. Look, man, I see your face. Hey, Dinwiddie's good, but I just think it might be something special about this Kettle Run squad.
For the Dinwiddie fans, I've seen Kettle Run play. So they're hot. They're undefeated. They've been tested. They went down to the wire against a very, very good Loudoun County team. They're not very big, so Dinwiddie's going to pose a problem. And their big player is Jordan Tapscott, who was committed to VMI. He opened his recruiting back up. Abram Shunley, the quarterback, very, very good. Quaker is the tailback. They're good, and they're hot. Don't count them out. So they're not very big. They've got some scrappy guys on defense. They don't have a huge size could matter. And I know Dinwiddie's got size, but
So Harry Lee, let me just say this. They beat a really good Loudoun County team, which is a good team, and they beat Glass, which surprised me.
Another one, they beat Glass.
I'm not picking anybody outside of Region 4B in Class 4 till they change the classifications again.
All right,
I'm sorry.
So let's go ahead and make predictions. I'll go and let's run through this. We got a quick little tidbit we're going to do at the end. It's a teaser for another episode. I'm going to stay with my pick. I'm going to stay with Dinwiddie. And by the way, Kettle Run, if you win, hey, I hope I motivate you. I just think that Dinwiddie's too good, too big. Dalton, just unbelievable. So I would take, I'm going to take Dinwiddie by 14-21. Let's go around the horn. Let's just go around the horn. So, Coach Daniel, I know who you're taking, right?
Dinwiddie by potentially the largest margin of victory this weekend in the state championship game.
What
Dinwiddie,
is that?
I got Dinwiddie by 40 plus.
Woo! Nah, that one.
You know, I did that with Freedom, and I was wrong. They beat them by 55. I thought it would be 40.
I mean, I have seen Dinwiddie on film. I've seen Dinwiddie. It is going to take a Herculean effort for Kettle Run to keep this game within 21 points.
All right, Kettle Run, Hercules. Blake and Melendez, Dinwiddie or Kettle Run?
I don't even know what the teams look like. So I don't got no dog in this fight.
I got Dinwiddie by 35.
Follow me.
I have no prediction.
Wow.
I've never seen any of the teams, so I don't know.
Okay. Larry, same way?
Dinwiddie,
Dinwiddie?
804.
All right.
Kettle Run, 1 mile outside of Prince William County.
That's got to be the only reason you're picking them.
All right. All right.
Yep.
So,
And that's it.
all right. So we're going to try to stay compact. We've gone pretty long. We were talking before we started recording about good ideas for episodes. We came up with this, and that's what are the 4 best high school football teams of all time in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And all we're going to do is state them ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to close. We're not going to do discussion. And by the way, we're going to do this for basketball also. That's a pretty dynamic. So I'm going to go with Hampton, Ronald Curry, I believe it was 97, right? Because Curry graduated in 98. Best, I'm going to go Phoebus 08, and I feel very strongly about those. Taj Boyd, Dominic Davenport, just a loaded team. And then I'm going to go Phoebus 03, second state championship year. Very loaded team. But I would say 3B would be what Mike Smith says, arguably his best Hampton squad. And I've heard in private, he said better than the Curry, and that's 1975 when Woodrow Wilson was there. So, and by the way, I did a little color.
So can I just have one? I know we're not trying to make too many rules, but is it because are you talking about a team with maybe one greatest year or a team like a dynasty, like Highland Springs?
Not programs, individual teams. 1 year.
One team.
One team. Let's go. Harry.
What?
Harry, what do you got?
Highland Springs 2016.
Okay.
Highland Springs 2018.
Okay.
Hampton 1997. Phoebus 2008.
Man, Phoebus was wax, y'all. All right. So, Blake, come on, man. Maury, the last 4 years.
That you was on rec league, you dominated. You don't know.
Well, I did have to go number 1, Maury 2019. That's the only one.
All right. We'll let you get some more wear on that.
And then my second one had to be Austin Smith last year. So.
Gotcha.
That is one of the best ones. All
Right.
Yeah, that's a great team.
Dr. Byrd.
I got to go Ronald Curry. That Hampton High team was the greatest team of all time, 1. I put Heritage High School, 2. We dominated everybody. We dominated Hampton twice.
Daryl Blackstock. What was the running back?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson. I mean, the whole defense, Kente Blunt. I mean, I can go down the list. Larry Davis, the greatest defender that I've ever seen in the Peninsula District. Every time he touched the ball defensively, he scored the touchdown. But we're averaging 60-plus points. So we beat Hampton like 40-something to 0, 45, whatever. So I say Heritage High School that year. That's the second greatest team. The third, whatever Phoebus team y'all all agree with, I'll agree with it. 4th, whatever Highland Springs team you all agree with, I will agree with. And then,
so I said 2016. I meant to say 2015. 4 pros played on that team.
So I'll throw an 804 in there, but I might put a slash beside that 804 and put a Lansdowne like my man Harry Lee reminded me about. So that's my 4th a Highland Springs team and Lantern High School with a little bit of 757 right beside it.
Okay. Larry.
Number one,
Larry's taking notes.
97, Hampton High School. We already know what that was about, man.
Yeah.
You know, that was crazy. My number two would throw a wrench into all of that, and I have to let y'all know that. 94, Patrick Henry, Daniel Derrick Cott, Damian Woody, Aaron Kenny.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how people forgot about that team.
Yeah.
Respect.
Because you got to remember, Hampton went and beat them the next year.
Right.
Larry, was Aaron Kenny, who played at Florida and Tennessee Titans, was he on that team?
Yeah, he was on that team.
Oh, man, that was a good team.
Tight end. Yep, he was on that team. People keep forgetting about how loaded that Patrick Henry team was, how dominant they were.
Okay. That's two.
Number three, I'm going to go with Phoebus, 2008, without a doubt. And the last one, I'm going to go with the 2002 C.D. Hilton.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. 99 Hilton. That's with
Right.
Mar Brooks.
Yeah, you're Mar Brooks. Right. That team was. I saw them when they did the Verona back to back those years.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to add an Oscar Smith team. Let me put that on my fourth too. One of those Oscar Smith teams.
Yeah, last year probably.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think the team in the spring was better, but we'll let that one live.
All right, Rusty.
All right, so I would like everybody. I'm going to go ahead and say that Crabbers team with Ronald Curry in '97. But I also have, because I saw this team, I saw Highland Springs 2015. Amazing. That was at UVA. I was like, this team, man, talent. And then they went on to be four
pros on that team.
Four pros. Yeah. Oscar Smith last year's team, I mean, they were dominant.
Is that team better than the 2020? Is that team better than the spring 21 version when they had Maurice Freeman on that team?
Well, I'm just saying, if you look, right, they had, okay, but that team last year that I saw with King at running back, the safety that went to Clemson, the quarterback, and I know they were all on the team, a couple months before.
We're lacking discipline, Rusty.
But okay,
we're going through it, debate.
But that offensive line was incredible. But then let me just say this also. I also have the Westfield team from 2017. All right, that was a group that had won 3 state championships in a row. They beat Oscar Smith, and those guys, they weren't as talented. It was a good team, and I saw them win a lot of games. And then lastly, I got T.C. Williams, 1971.
Oh, I thought you would go 84, man. That team was nationally ranked. 71. Okay, remember the Titans. That's a good one, man. Wow. And by the way, if anybody doesn't know, the movie has a fictitious script. They beat everybody. Routed. The team that they beat in the state championship is a middle school now in Salem. If you're playing George Marshall back then, that would have been in the northern region. So, yeah, they ran all over them. So, okay. So this has been good. So everybody in 3, 4, 5, and 6, we're going to preview 6. We're going to get Kettle Run for 4, and then we'll talk Phoebus Heritage. And we also will do a top 4 for basketball, and that's going to be fun. So before we close, I'm going to let you take us out, Rusty, but and don't.
And I just wanted, I wanted to say this. I could easily replace one of those after Saturday if Freedom finishes the job.
Okay. So make sure you subscribe to us. By the way, the top 4 coaches are Mike Smith, Bill D, Mickey Johnson, and Lauren Johnson. Or Mickey Thompson and Lauren Johnson. In closing, Byrd, take us out.
All right. So this was a great segment covering Division 5, a little bit of a Division 4. And we've got some guys that know their stuff. But what I want you to do is hold us accountable. call out Blake. I don't care if he only in the 8th grade. Call that boy out if he got his mess right, okay? And then, look, Larry Legend knows his history on the 804. He knows these teams, and I love his passion. And then Harry Lee, bruh, like we got some real inside, in-depth scoop info today of the man who was the athletic director of the defending basketball state champions and the probable state championship team this year. You guys have really been a blessing. I want to promote BallinVA, Larry Legend's podcast. Y'all go there, subscribe, like, comment, because it is a great show. In fact, go watch the episode with Harry Lee, because that's where I got my first introduction to that brother. See, you thought I knew you saw us, but I saw you. And
that man got more rings than enough, man. That man got more state championship rings than enough.
Yeah,
I
man.
got a lot.
So,
I got a lot of rings at this point.
and then my baby brother, man, I don't think 2 days go by where we don't talk. I love that dude, but he'll tell you when we was kids, I was the one saying, "Let's go out and throw the football, man." And he was like, "No, I want to." But I tell you what, I knew he was going to be something because he hung with me when we played football in the streets in Hampton, man. And he went on and did his thing. So I'm proud of you. And of course, my co-host, man, I couldn't do none of this without you. 2 sports star on the basketball team at Phoebus. But if you was the only white dude on the Phoebus basketball team,
man,
you gotta have game. All right. So, hey, look, for Larry Legend, for Harry Lee, for Blake and Melendez Byrd, and my co-host, Kirk Hilliard, this has been the Kirk and Byrd Show with our VHSL review preview. We are out.